Hi, this is Group 7 and my group mates and I are going to present the real estate industry for you guys today. Our presentation is divided into 6 major segments and I will be taking you through the SWOT analysis and the Porter's 5 forces that is applicable to the real estate industry.
So starting off with the SWOT analysis, and let's just go into the strengths of this particular sector. As I said, there's a lot of growing urbanization that we see today with a lot of economic expansion that is really happening in the Indian arena, and hence this is opening up the potential for the commercial real estate, and hence the market growth in not only the residential real estate but also the commercial real estate is at its boom. Further, we have RERA, which is making things much more transparent and hence is adding to the development and the growth of this particular industry. We also have the growing consumer and business confidence, which is seeing a lot of positive impact on how people are approaching this particular sector. Going ahead with the weaknesses, I see we all talk about demonetization being a very big impediment into the growth of our country, and hence it's also been a very big impediment in order for the real estate sector to grow as fast as it would want to be growing. Another thing that also acts as a impediment to this industry is the foreign investors who are really keen to invest into the real estate sector cannot do so because of a lot of bureaucratic procedures. Going ahead, we have opportunities wherein the real estate sector in India is expected to reach a $1 trillion market cap, but we have a lot of opportunities with house sharing concepts like Airbnb, international standard student housings. Then we have OYOs, we have shared workspaces these days like WeWorks, etc., which go on, and also the 100 smart city projects in India which the Union Cabinet has approved, and hence can give a lot of thrust to this particular industry. Coming ahead with the threats, we have a lot of threats also, which is due to the Indian economy being very unpredictable. Also, demonetization is also a big threat that had happened. RERA, though has its positive impacts, also has its threats because it doesn't allow the industry to grow as much as it would, because it's putting a lot of pressure on the developers to finish their properties on time. Also, major obstacle for real estate developers is the rivalry. Obviously, there are a lot of players in India, which is becoming a huge plus for us consumers, and hence the competitive rivalry is very, very high. Coming to the threat of new entrants, it's very tough to enter the real estate sector because it's so much capital infusion into this industry, hence it is very tough for it to come out. Then threat of substitutes, there's not real substitutes for something like homes, but one would say that renting out an apartment would be a substitute to buying houses. So it depends from a person to person on how we see it. Bargaining power of the buyers is large because of the number of players and the number of offers that are there, and also that the developers want to play it safe, and hence even when the bargaining power of the buyers is actually not high, but they still give it to the buyers. Then you have bargaining power of suppliers, which is also high because all the suppliers and all the inputs are getting expensive, and also the wages that the workers are expecting is also increasing day by day.
My name is Niharika Jain. Since we have gone through the industry analysis using tools like SWOT and Porter's 5, now we'll go through the industry analysis using the industry life cycle, which comprises of 4 stages: introduction, growth, maturity and decline. And we will see how the real estate sector falls in the growth stage and what are the reasons behind this.
The Indian real estate sector has witnessed high growth in recent times with the rising demand for offices as well as residential spaces. There are a lot of facts stating the growth of the real estate sector. Private equity and venture capital investments in the sector have reached $4.1 billion. Institutional investments in India's real estate are expected to reach $5.5 billion. According to the data released by Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, the construction development sector in India has received FDIs to the tune of $24.87 billion. Apart from the statistical figures, there are a lot of reasons that help us identify that the real estate sector is in the growth phase of industry life cycle. The Securities and Exchange Board of India has given its approval for the Real Estate Investment Trust, which will help in allowing all kind of investors to invest in the Indian estate market. It would create an opportunity worth Rs 1.25 trillion in the Indian market. The most marked change has been the shift from family owned businesses to that of professionally managed ones. The Government of India, along with the governments of respective states, has taken several initiatives to encourage the development of this sector. The Smart City project, where there is a plan to build 100 smart cities, is a prime opportunity for the real estate companies. Apart from India's sound economic growth, several policy initiatives taken by the government in recent times are viewed as opportunities for sector to grow further. The much awaited Real Estate or RERA bill was approved by both houses of the parliament, covering both commercial as well as private segments. Developers are revamping the business models and bringing in more transparency and accountability in the system. This was due to the fact that in 2016, developers launched a number of projects and there was no assurance of completion of them. So, by way of RERA, a deadline has been given for the completion of these projects and the developers are compelled to improve their business models.
Hello everyone, I am Prajakta Chavan. Previously we talked about industrial life cycle stage for real estate industry, that is growth stage, and the reasons for the same. Now I will be talking about the value chain in the real estate industry. As far as real estate industry is considered, value chain is divided into 5 segments.
The first segment is ownership and development. These involves companies that develop and own real estate, which includes developers, real estate investment trusts, and home builders. Next segment is financing, which can be done either by equity or debt. Financing through equity includes providing of the capital by large institutions, private firms, and individuals. Owners and developers need it in order to undertake the next real estate project. Financing through debt represents commercial and residential mortgage loans and involves the mortgage brokers who connect borrowers with direct mortgage lenders such as commercial banks. Next is property sales, leasing, and management. Agents and brokers act as the intermediaries between the entities that buy, sell, and lease real estate. Many brokerage firms provide services related to property management to commercial real estate owners. Construction segment includes a service called build to suit or leaseback, in which a corporation hires a construction management firm to build a building to suit its particular needs. But upon completion, the corporation sells the building immediately to a new owner and leases it back. The final output of the chain is tenant use, which is a part of the built environment devoted to a specific use. Tenant use categories of real estate can be divided into 3 groups as industrial, residential, and commercial. Value chain analysis is important as it helps to decide at which stage of value chain one should invest in order to maximize wealth. Only 1% of people invest in different assets at different point of time and create wealth. It is important to have right knowledge, invest in right time, and look for good opportunities. In real estate, investment stage, development stage provides heavy returns around 25% to 30%. These are the stages one should focus on in order to maximize their wealth.
Hello everyone, my name is Riya Singhla. Previously we talked about what is value chain and what are the various segments in value chain. Now we will talk about disruption and the impact of technology in real estate industry, where we will touch various topics like smart contracts, tokenization, data management, etc.
Every sector of the economy goes under the impact of disruption, and real estate is no different. So today we will talk about the various applications of technology in real estate industry. The first one is data management. Usually massive amount of data are handled by real estate agents. The number of data is snowballing from year to year, and if the person does this amount of work by hand, it takes much time to deal with it. The retail offer requires the report about the property. So this kind of problem can be dealt with the automation of data management and data collection through machine learning. The second is property price calculation. Usually retailers calculate the price according to the previous sales price without taking into consideration different factors like transportation, infrastructure improvements, environmental changes, neighborhoods, and so on. Third point is title transfer transparency. The current demographic was raised on easy to use data aggregation sources such as Carfax. Creating a Carfax equivalent for the property could help enhance confidence in the real estate market as well as limit foreclosures due to unforeseen unsustainable costs associated with the lack of information upon purchase. The fourth one is smart contracts. Since both sellers and buyers see their cost to be blocked due to payment that need to be made towards agents of their sale, smart contract is something that is preferred to do away with such cost. Typically, those selling their homes can expect to hand over about 5 to 6% of the selling price to this real estate agent or broker. Hence, some see self executing smart contract as a tool that will eventually eliminate many of the middlemen in the real estate.
My name is Alankrit Mehta. As we have already discussed about the technological advancements in real estate sector, now we'll touch upon the points that are related to the trends that are there in the real estate sector. Also, we'll touch upon the different parameters that has led the real estate sector to regain its market share.
India's skylines consist of housing, retail, commercial and hospitality establishments. Around 91 million people shifted in urban areas over the last decade. The 2011 census revealed that the number of towns in the country increased to 2,774 from 2,532 as compared to the previous year. This trend has continued and there is growth in housing demand, and in order to accommodate the rising population levels, the trend has been increased. As per industry experts, the growth of this sector is well complemented by the growth of the corporate environment, demand for office space, urban and semi-urban accommodations. The commercial spaces in India has also evolved significantly in the past 10 years. This is due to a wide range of Indian and foreign businesses have been expanding in the country. This sector's growth has been particularly led by the information technology sector. The real estate sector has shown a lot of fluctuations. There has been both growth and decline due to certain factors, and so we have identified different phases for the same. Initial growth phase from 2001 to 2005, high growth phase with increasing demand and supply, declining demand for real estate due to global financial crisis, mismatch of demand and supply after the slowdown. After a considerable downfall in the real estate sector, there have been different technological trends coming into picture. Real estate sector in India is regaining its market share, while young people have tended to drive the popularity of services like Airbnb. At the other end of the spectrum, the aging of societies will challenge the way we think about real estate. Great opportunities to investment in Indian real estate sector due to increasing housing shortages in India in both the rural and urban areas, technological disruptions in the sector that includes IoT enabled homes, recreational facilities in societies, after sale service guarantees, etc. And also different merger and acquisition has given lots of opportunity for career growth in this particular sector.
My name is Mayur Mukra. After understanding the topic, the past trends of real estate industry, I will be talking to you upon the topic of growth and profitability aspect of real estate industry. For this particular topic, we'll be looking forward to the cumulative demand and supply of the particular sector.
The real estate industry is on a growth trend. This growth is factored by the emergence of nuclear family, rapid urbanization and rising household income, which are likely to become the key driver of the growth in this all spheres of real estate industry. In terms of growth and profitability, areas such as education, healthcare, senior citizen housing, warehousing, hotels, shared apartment are creating a niche for itself and pushing the growth and profit opportunities for value investors in this particular sector. And this growth can be seen in the sales growth figures from 2006 onwards. Even the investment portfolio has increased substantially with the introduction of REITs and FDI in the country. Government policies had played a very crucial role in order to boost affordable real estate home loans in India, which are also expected to grow at 17 to 19% in FY19 according to ICRA. While looking at the cumulative housing demand in the top 8 cities of India, we can easily see that in all the 3 groups, which is high income group, medium and low income group, there is a huge gap between the demand and supply. Although the demand for commercial space in top 8 cities and the number of new malls in India are rising, but there is a lot of gap which can be fulfilled and which lays upon the opportunities for value investors, government, brokers, and even the retail investors for that matter. At last, concluding, the overall investments are rising, returns on assets are improving, and profit after tax have substantially grown over the years, which makes a real estate industry a very booming industry in the today's scenario. Thank you.